The flow of wealth is natural as riding a wave. All you have to do is just stay in a boat floating in the water. You don't even need to row. Life is a journey on which we seek out and integrate several selves and within each of us. In the end, you have to become yourself. People discover inner power that can make them happy by themselves when becoming themselves. And having isn't the quickest, it is the way to achieve that. Real rich. Right now, focus entirely on the taste and lose yourself in the pleasure of eating. That's the feeling of living 100% in the moment. It wasn't enough to feel the happiest of this moment. My emotions slowly grow stronger. Is this the right way for me to gradually feel better? Having is a part of life for them. It becomes so natural that you stop thinking about it. In fact, real rich people have all made it having a part of their lives for quite a while now. Real rich all have the having in common. Having is noticeably the fastest and the most efficient way to get rich. Having means happily spending money. Our emotions are one of the key types of energy, and the money is type of matter. Don't be deceived by what you see with your eyes. The truth is unexpectedly simple. If you enjoy your money with a positive energy, you will suddenly draw more money. Energy is the cause, and the matter is the effect that follows from it. Real rich people are those who know how to enjoy happiness as they spend the money. That way, the energy of your emotion will draw in more money. As your feeling gradually grow, you will feel grateful for your ability to earn the money. Then you will be thankful for a world that lets you earn money, knowing that money returns to you a greater measure. That's the sentiment of a real rich person. But real rich people appear to enjoy their life and live happily. They enjoy the moments when they spend the money and they live in the moment. I didn't want to be slave to anxiety and worry. Real rich people live today. They value each day's happiness. To real rich people, money is a method and a tool so they can enjoy today to their heart's content. But the fake rich people, money is a goal or an honor. They sacrifice their lives to keep their money. Real rich people know how to bring in more money with the same amount of effort. It's a matter of efficiency. Someone who studies for the same amount of time but chooses a faster, easier method will get an A. That's called the point of application. Oh, I know the most efficient way real rich people bring in money. It's by having. Having helps you find the best point of the application for yourself. It's a system that lets you achieve maximum efficiency with the minimum effort. Having helps you find the best point of application for yourself. It's a system that lets you achieve maximum efficiency with the minimum effort. Pure trust. Then my heart was full of happiness and gratitude. Now my heart lives within a hope that I can do it too. If your mind is rich, you can overcome any crisis that finds you. That's an archetypal relationship with the wealthy people. It follows in a virtuous cycle. depending on the person's mindset. She was the protagonist of her own life. Because he slowed down, accepted his fear, and gained clarity around it, he was able to defend his panic and see that fear was actually altering him to an opportunity. Time is another form of wealth. He realized that while he had lost his job, he had gained something else very valuable. Using his newfound time, he was not only more present in his kids' lives, but he also ended up getting a new, better job. Reframing the situation stopped him from draining energy negatively and encouraged him to start applying it positively. Still, it's hard to not judge the moment and remain open to opportunity when the unknown future spins like a whirlwind through your body and the brain. Sometimes our panic or freeze responses rush ahead of us and they make it difficult to spend the judgment. Let's talk about some strategies to help us amend the panic and fear. Fortunately, a simple, powerful tool to short-circuit the panic response is always with us, our breath. Before I give a talk, when I'm standing off stage listening to my introduction, I'll feel my heart beat faster and my hands getting moist. I've coached people who perform in front of the full arenas and the people who present in everyday meetings. And like the rest of us, they feel most of their fear physically. Panic and freezing are disconnected between our bodies and our minds. Either our bodies go on high alert and rush ahead of our mental processes, or our minds are racing and our bodies start to shut down. As a monk, I learned a simple breathing exercise to have realigned my body and mind and stop fear from stopping me. I still use it every time I'm about to give a talk to a large group, enter a stressful meeting, or go into a room full of people I don't know. Try this. Don't panic. Use your breath to realign body and mind. Breathe to calm and relax yourself. Meditation. Breathe is useful on the spot, but some fears are hard to dispel with your breath alone. When you go through a period of instability, we fear what's ahead. In the moment, we can't see the complete picture, but when the stressful period passes, we never look back to learn from the experience. Life isn't a collection of unrelated events, it's a narrative that stretches into the past and the future. We are natural storytellers, and we can use that proclivity to our detriment to tell horror stories about possible future events. Better to try seeing our lives as a single, long, continuous story, not just in disconnected pieces. When you're hired at a job, take a moment to reflect on all of the lost jobs and or failed interviews that led to this victory. You can think of them as necessary challenges along the way. When you learn to stop segmenting experiences and the periods of our life and instead see them as scenes and acts in a larger narrative, we gain perspective that help us deal with fear. Admittedly, we do our best to celebrate in hindsight. Now take a moment to express gratitude for those challenges and weave them into the story of your life. When we are actually experiencing challenges, it's difficult to tell ourselves this could end up being a good thing. But the more we practice looking in the near-view mirror and finding gratitude for the hard times we've experienced, the more we start to change our programming. The gap between the suffering and the gratitude gets smaller and smaller, and the intensity of the fear in the moments of hardship begins to diminish. Panic and freezing can be dealt with using breath and by reframing the circumstances. But these are short-term fear responses. It is much harder to control the two long-term strategies we use to distract us from fear: burying and running away. One of my favorite ways to understand how these strategies work involves in a house on fire. Let's say you wake up in the middle of the night to your smoke detector beeping. Immediately, you're afraid. As you should be, the signal did its job, which was to get your attention. Now you smell smoke, so you gather your family and pets together and you get out of the house, right? This is if you're put as your best use. But what if, upon hearing the smoke alarm, instead of quickly accessing the situation and taking a logical next steps, you hurried over the smoke detector, removed the battery, and went back to bed? As you can imagine, your problems are about to magnify. Yet, that's what we often do with fear. Instead of accessing and responding, we deny or abandon the situation. Relationships are a space where we commonly use a solution of avoidance. Let's say you're having some major conflict with your girlfriend. Rather than sitting down with her and talking about what's going on, putting out the fire, communicating everyone out of the house, you pretend that everything else fine while the detective fire burns on. When we deny fear, our problems follow us. In fact, they're probably getting bigger and bigger, and at some point something will force us to deal with them. When all else fails, pain does make us pay attention. If we don't learn from the signal that alerts us to a problem, we'll end up learning from the results of the problem itself, which is furthest desirable. But if we face our fear, we stay, we deal with the fire, we have the tough conversation, we become stronger as a result. He doesn't run from it or bury it. He faces it. He asks for help in form of insight and understanding. In that action, he was begun to shift from being controlled by his fear to understanding it. What you run from only stays with you longer. Invisible Monsters Remix. Find what you're afraid of most and go live there. When fear is buried, it's just something we cling to, and it makes everything feel tight because we are under this burden of things we never released. Whether you suppress them or run away from them, your fears and your problems remain with you, and they accumulate. Take a take a deep dive into your fears. At first, a few surface level fears will pop up. Stay with exercise, asking yourself, what am I really afraid of? And a larger and deeper fears will begin to reveal themselves. These answers don't usually come all at once. Typically, it takes some time to sink below the layers to real root of your fears. Be open to the answer, revealing itself over time, and maybe not even during meditation or other focused session. You may be at the grocery stores selecting avocados one day, when all of a sudden it dawns on you. That's just how we operate. Going through the processes of acknowledging fear, observing our parents for dealing with it, addressing and amending those parents that help us reprogram our view of fear from something that's inherently negative to the neutral signal, or even an indicator of opportunity. When we reclassify fear, we can look past any smoking stories to what's real, and in doing so, in so doing, uncover deep and the meaningful trust they can inform and empower us. When we identify our attachment-related fears and instead of foster detachment, you can live with a greater sense of freedom and enjoyment. And when we channel the energy behind our fears towards service, we diminish our fear of not having enough and feel happier, more fulfilled, and are more connected to the world around us. Fear motivates us. Sometimes it motivates us toward what we want, but sometimes, if we aren't careful, it limits us with what we think will keep us safe. In our heads, we have an image of a daily life, our relationships, how we spend our time at work and leisure, what we want to achieve. But now, we will figure out what drives these ambitions, whether they are likely to make us truly happy, and whether happiness is even right target. Success doesn't guarantee happiness, and happiness doesn't require success. They can feed each other, and they can have them at the same time, but they are not intertwined. If fear limits and success doesn't satisfy us, then you probably already guessed that duty and love have more to offer. We all have different goals, but we all want the same things: a life full of joy and meaning. Monks don't seek out the joy part. We aren't looking for the happiness and the pleasure. Instead, we focus on the satisfaction that comes from living in a meaningful life. Can be elusive. It's hard to sustain a high level of joy, but to feel meaning shows that our actions have purpose. They lead to a worthwhile outcome. We believe we are living in a positive imprint. What we do matters, so we matter. Bad things happens, boring chores must get done. Life isn't all sunshine and the unicorns, but it is always possible to find meaning. If you lose a loved one and someone tells you to look for a positive, to be happy, to focus on the good things in your life, well, you might want to punch the person. But we can survive those worst tragedies by looking for the meaning in the loss. We may honor a loved one by giving up the community or discover a new gratitude for life They will pass on to those who have supported us. Eventually, the value that we see in our actions will lead to the sense of meaning. Money and dimensions are not only wealth, or the worth of the spirit. Character is wealth, good conduct is wealth, and spiritual wisdom is wealth. Purpose and meaning, not success, lead to the true contentment. When you understand this, we see the value of being motivated by duty and love. When you act out of the duty and love, you know that you are providing value. The more we upgrade from trying to fulfill our selfish need to doing things out of several service and love, the more we can achieve. In her book, The Upside of Stress, author Kelly McGonigal says that we can better handle discomfort when we can associate it with a goal, purpose, and a person we care about. For example, when it comes to planning a child's birthday party, a parent might be more than willing to endure the unpleasantness of the staying up late. The pain of lost sleep is offset by the satisfaction of being a loving mother. But when it comes to not working late at job, the same woman hates. She is miserable. We can take on more when we are doing it for someone we love or to serve a purpose we believe in rather than from misguided idea that we feel find happiness through success. When we perform work with a conviction that what we do matters, we can live intensely without reason for moving forward. We have no drive. When we live intentionally with a clear sense of why, what it matters, life has meaning and brings fulfillment. Intention fills in a car with gas. Relationships. Every person is a world to explore. Studies regions of world where people live in the longest and healthiest lives. So the worldwide need for this kind of community, in addition to diet and lifestyle practices. That longevity will try to several aspects of a community. Closer relationships with family. That will take good care of when you need the help. And a tribe with a shared beliefs and healthy social behaviors. Like these religions, the ashram is an independent community, one that fosters a mood of collaboration and services to one another. Everyone is encouraged to look up not just for their own needs, but for those of other people. Remember the trees in a biosphere, too, that lack the roots deep enough to withstand wind. Redwood trees are another story. Famously tall, you'd think that they need deep roots to survive. But in fact, their roots are shallow. What gives the trees resilience is that these roots spread widely. Redwoods best dry and groves, interweaving their roots so strong and weak together withstand the forces of nature.